Their journey back to the village was long and quiet, each contemplating what the master had taught them that day. Corbat breaks the silence. "That sword looks heavy. Maybe you should let me carry it for a while." Launa draws the blade to admire the steel, its wood grain pattern glinting in the sun. Ignoring him, she sheathes the sword and ties the cord of the scabbard around her waist. "Come on, I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. Let me check it out, please."
It's not a toy, Corbat. If the master thought you deserved to carry a sword, he would have given you one.
They plod on and eventually stop in the small grotto next to the creek. It is a common rest spot where the shade of the trees wards off the heat of the sun and the cool water offers refreshment. There they sit quietly, Launa reflecting, Corbat plotting. From nearby comes a loud growl. Exploding from the bushes charges a large bear, its maw dripping with hunger. Launa jumps to her feet, her sword rings as it clears the scabbard. As the bear closes the distance, it rears up onto its hind legs. Terror grips them both. Corbat screams, "Help! Somebody help us!" Realizing that Corbat has no protection of his own, Launa takes control of her fear and steps forward into a dragon stance, placing herself between the monster and her friend. She shouts the fear from her belly, and the sword lets out a brilliant flash. Blinded, the bear howls in pain and stumbles back into the forest. Shaken, Launa returns the sword to its sheath. Corbat's nowhere to be seen. As she calls out to him, she hears a nearby bush start to shake. Quickly, her hand moves to the hilt of the sword. The blade clears the sheath and in the same smooth motion cuts the trunk of the bush, sending it flying into the forest. Light from the blade illuminates the huddled figure cowering behind the bush. Shaking uncontrollably, Corbat hugs his knees and forces his eyes shut. "Ah, don't eat me!" The light of the blade grows dull as Launa places it in the belly of the scabbard.
Don't worry, Corbat, it's just me. The bear's run off, we're safe now.
"You should have killed it!"
It was probably just hungry like we were. It smelled our food and just wanted some of it, not us. Now it's probably just looking for a less fierce snack.
They gather their courage and their gear and continue down the trail. When they return to the village, they both go their separate ways, Launa to her home and Corbat to his. Corbat, however, cuts into a side path and stalks back in Launa's direction. He sticks to the shadows of the trees and the buildings as he follows her from a distance. As she enters the front door of her home, Corbat sneaks around to the back and peers in through her window. He watches as she admires the blade one more time, and then hangs the sword above her door the way her father had taught her. Corbat waits until she leaves the room to start her chores, and he can't help himself. How did she get it to glow? Taking a small knife from his belt, he pries the window open. Quietly, he climbs into the room, grabs the sword, and hides it in his cloak. Stealthily, he sticks to the edge of the forest, heading to a clearing he knows of. He has gone there many times with his father to dump garbage, a quiet but stinky place that people choose to stay away from. As he steps into the clearing, he draws the blade from his cloak, brandishing it before him. He concentrates on the sword, but no glow. He shouts, still no light. Giving up, he instead swings the sword wildly. Imaginary warriors fall one by one. Suddenly, a dog running through the clearing comes too close to a chaotic swing. Its tail falls to the ground, and the dog flees back to the village, yelping in pain. Oh no, the old man's gonna be furious! Hiding the sword back beneath his cloak, he drifts through the forest, avoiding all the trails and roads. The moon, lifting higher above the trees, illuminates the side of the house where Launa is currently washing the evening dishes. Corbat sneaks around the opposite side and then to the back of the house. Quietly, he sneaks back through her bedroom window and leans the sword against a wall. Corbat skulks back home down the dark and vacant roads. Alone with his thoughts, he contemplates his mistakes and how he would cover them.